Kyler Staley joining us.
I'm here, faceless.
We told him that he broke a camera last time, so
all this Lakers stuff just completely destroyed my camera. They couldn't take it. They couldn't take the Lake show.
Yeah, they're rolling. Where are they sitting at the NBA right now?
They won the other night. They're fighting right now for a play.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
That's 100% true.
They're ninth in the West.
Okay, so I think they're in a play-in spot right now.
Let me ask you this: they're ninth in the West. Where are the Pacers now in the East?
12th.
Okay, so the Lakers are only 3 spots ahead of a team that is basically in a rebuilding.
Right.
Okay, I just want to get that clear.
Absolutely. The joys of being a Lakers fan.
First of all, let's talk. Oh, go ahead. Questions. What was Dustin? You had it?
So we've got people that want to know some stuff about the recruiting and the transfer portal, Kyler. So I'm going to ask 2 parts so I don't forget here. Some interest in potentially Chris Ledlam out of Harvard. He's averaging just under 19 points, 9 rebounds per game. And then an update on Kokomo's Flory Bidunga.
Yeah, so I guess with the transfer portal, that's starting up. I think March 13th is when they officially can put their names in the transfer portal.
Which is odd because that is in the middle of the NCAA tournament.
Yes. Yeah. There probably will be a few teams that, that are playing. They're still playing in postseason stuff, whether that be the NIT or whatever. I can totally see them still putting their names in the, the portal right away. But yeah, Chris Ledlam, if that's how you pronounce his last name. Yeah. Averaging 18.8 points, 8.5 rebounds. He shot 47% this year. He's really the first, I guess, bigger name in the transfer portal. He's a 6'7", 225 pounds. I think he's a forward, if I can think correctly. Obviously didn't watch a lot of Harvard games this year. So, but yeah, he's kind of the first name. I think he was, I can't remember who recruited him when he first got, was in high school or whatever, but, he's kind of, the new guy, the top guy right now. And then switching over to Flory Bidunga. Obviously there's not a whole lot of things that have changed. He still, came to visit the Indiana games and everything, all unofficial. So none of them were official.
Let's just talk about the realities of Flory Bidunga. Number one, he's a game changer. He is whoever lands him is going to get a player that probably starts as a freshman, and it's hard to predict, guys, but man, he sure looks like he's ready to go to that next level. Kyler, you've seen him a hell of a lot more than I have, but he sure has that motor. It's the motor along with everything else. But the reality of the situation is he has been involved with an AAU program, and the coach of that program has a brother who is an assistant coach at Cincinnati. It's not saying that that's some kind of package done deal, but you have that to worry about as far as the recruiting goes. Other than that, I think Indiana would probably be in a prime position, but not that they're not in a good position. But if it wasn't for that, they would probably be far and away the leader in his recruiting, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so obviously when he first came in, Flory plays for Indiana Elite. He plays on the 2024 team along with Travis Perry and Riley Burgess, a couple of other Indiana recruits. And then, got some in-state guys there too. So Mark Adams, the guy that runs Indiana Elite, his son is actually the guy that's a part of the Cincinnati kind of staff there. He's not an assistant coach. I think he's some kind of assistant athletic director, something like that. So obviously when Flory came in, that was kind of the story with his recruitment. But nobody really expected Flory to take off the way he did last summer.
He was unranked. He was unranked in most
hidden
rankings, and now he's number 2.
Yeah, he was basically hidden in Kokomo. He came into the season. He's played in Kokomo, which they have from what I hear, they have a fantastic international school. That's where a lot of international kids come to, for their high school education when they come into the state. But anyway, Flory was hitting, and then in the summer, once he was playing on the Adidas circuit and everything with Indiana Elite, just kind of exploded. And then that's when it was just like, I don't know if him being tied to a school is necessarily a thing anymore. Just because he can go anywhere he wants, and like you said, he's a game changer. Indiana, I would say, sits in a slightly better spot than other schools that have recruited him, but like not by very much, just by a hair. But you just don't know with his recruitment right now. It's still a mystery, and I don't know how much you're going to find out this summer either. Obviously, where he's leaning towards May, May kind of closed in a little bit more once we talk to him and things like that. But he's been to Indiana multiple times. Like I said, they've been all unofficial visits, not official yet. From what I hear, him and Gabe Cupps get along pretty well now. I think Gabe's mentioned that he's kind of one of his closer friends. So, it just kind of is what it is right now.
Did they used to fight before, not get along? Kidding.
No.
Joking. But so we're talking about a kid that's a year from now anyway, who's going to be a one and done probably.
I would assume so, yeah.
I mean, the way his talent is developing, he's already number 2 a year or what? Yeah, he's going to be a one and done. So next year, Indiana going to have to hit the transfer portal, but let's talk about how the impact of if Xavier Johnson is able to come back to play next year for Mike Woodson as his starting point guard. The importance of that I cannot stress to people, because that takes an unbelievable load off of Mike Woodson having to find a point guard that can run the team now. That's not Gabe Cupps. He's not going to come in. He's not Jalen Hood-Schifino. Nothing against Gabe Cupps, but he's not Jalen Hood-Schifino. Having Xavier, that's a guy that can score, get to the rim, facilitate, defend, and he is a veteran. And more importantly, he knows your offense. I mean, that's manna from heaven. Now they can focus their attention in a specific area in the portal and the wing, and they probably need another big man.
Yeah. But yeah, Xavier Johnson coming back, that's huge. Because I know a lot of people are like ready for Gabe Cupps to come in. And
now, he has to apply, and he has to get here's the deal. You're allowed to play 10 games for a medical hardship. He played in the 11th game. He played like 9 minutes. So that's what they're going to have to get around. And so we'll have to wait to see what that ends up being, but just wanted to throw that caveat in there. Sorry.
Yeah. So no, they're good. But anyway, Gabe Cupps, I know a lot of people, a lot of Indiana fans are ready for Gabe Cupps to come in right away, take over. They've seen him play in the high school level. I've seen him play multiple times. Gabe Cupps is a winner. He's a great, great player, but he's not a Jalen Hood-Schifino. He's not that college-ready guy.
It's like Purdue. It's like where Purdue is with Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And, those guys dealt with, but people kind of forget, Purdue dealt with transfer issues, players from last year transferring out. So Braden Smith was kind of thrown into the starting lineup. That was not the original plan with him. That they tried to hit the transfer portal too. They tried to get the guy that went to Miami that's escaping my head right now. Yeah. So, but anyway, Xavier Johnson coming back is huge just because you have your starting guard, you have your starting point guard. And not only that, Gabe Cupps will likely be running that second unit. You've got him going up against Xavier Johnson for a full year. That's only going to make him better. Gabe Cupps is going to be ready to take over, I think, the lead guard spot his sophomore year. But this next year, it's not ready. He's going to have a major transition into the college game. He's going to have to get bigger. He's going to add some size to him. But Gabe Cupps, I think he's going to be one of the better Hoosiers for years to come. So I like what they're doing. Obviously, the question is, what are they going to do with the bigs? I would expect maybe a couple transfers out. That's just my opinion. So I think that's going to be the big question mark. They're going to have to hit the transfer portal pretty hard. I haven't heard of anybody reclassifying from the 24 class, any bigs that Indiana could potentially go after. to fill that void. But, other than Malik Renew, there's a lot of questions next year of what Indiana's going to do, what that front court's going to look like. So it's going to be a really interesting offseason when it comes to the transfer portal. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of different faces for Indiana, and some are not just by graduating. There's going to be a lot of spots to fill. I mean, you already know how many are leaving with Race, Trace, Miller Kopp. Let's see whom else by.
I mean, those are the 3 scholarship players.
Okay, so those are 3 scholarship players that for sure will be gone. I would be surprised to see Logan Duncombe back. Personally,
It's a real possibility. I mean, obviously, this is just my opinion. I have no insider information with this, but Logan Duncombe and Jordan Geronimo, those are 2 very interesting guys to keep a lookout for, potential guys that transfer out. So,
and that's 5 spots to fill. Obviously, 2 of them are already filled, but that still leaves 3 that they can go to the portal and find a big and 2 wings. If they can do that, you've got Trey Calloway, you've got Xavier at the point,
and expect Caleb Banks and CJ Gunn to have some improvement this year too. I think they'll be set at guards. I think they'll be set at guards and wings. Maybe they can add another wing. You've also got Ja'Kai Newton coming in, who I think is going to be playing some heavy minutes for the Hoosiers, whether that be for the second unit.
Well, what is the most important, in your opinion? What is the most important out of those 3 open spots that I think will be there that they need to fill? What's the most importance, do you think?
I mean, I obviously think the answer is the front court situation. They're going to be thin. Even if Logan.
Well, you're going to have Xavier and Gabe Cupps.
Yeah, you might have Xavier.
Yes. You got to keep saying that.
You got to plan on that. Just right now, let's plan on. I know, but in this, just for argument's sake, let's plan on Xavier being there, and you have Gabe Cupps behind him.
Yeah. And then you've got obviously Tamar Bates, Trey Galloway. And then you
need somebody else at the 2 besides Trey Galloway.
You could. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see Trey Galloway still starting next year alongside with
I expect that. I would expect that. I mean, there's no way he doesn't. He's too valuable. His leadership is too valuable. Absolutely. I just meant a backup.
And then
Gabe Cupps will be behind Xavier, but who's going to be behind Trey Galloway? You have to have another 2 out there.
And then that's when you look at CJ Gunn or Ja'Kai Newton. I mean, Ja'Kai Newton, he's steadily improved. When you look at all the rankings, the rival rankings, he's went up. Ever since the rivals rankings came out with his class. But people kind of forget about Ja'Kai a little bit. He's going to come in. He's going to play some big minutes. He's a big guard. He's almost college ready, I would say, just from size alone. But he's coming off an injury, and he's looked pretty good since he came off that injury. So he's going to be playing some important minutes for the Hoosiers. I don't know if he'll start, but I would assume he's going to be one of the first guys off the bench next year.